Hi, I'm Darnell with We Live in Recipes, and this is my review of the Gourmia 8-Quart Digital Window Air Fryer. So let's go ahead and get it unboxed. Alright, so now that we got everything unboxed, it comes with just basically the crisper rack, and this crisper rack has these bumpers, like silicone bumpers, on the ends of it, and you leave those on so that you're not like scraping metal on metal when you're putting it in. These are heat resistant and BPA free, so you won't have any problem out of these if you're new to using basket air fryers. They do give you a good bit of paperwork and a nice looking packet here. So inside of here we've got, well, some warning materials there and support materials, as well as the manual, and they give you a very nice looking recipe book. And let's see here, I mean, they've got some nice pictures, lots of pages of different recipes, and this goes on. I mean, the book total is about 67 pages total. The last few pages are just like some charts of cooking guides, so they give you plenty of information for how to use it there, so that's very good. And so it comes with a 2-prong polarized plug, and the cooker is 1700 watts, so that's near the max wattage you can get for a household appliance. And so you definitely, I would say, don't want anything else on the same circuit with this. Very likely you're going to blow the circuit if you do. So keep that in mind, that this probably needs to be in an outlet where you're not going to have anything else running at the same time this is running. And this cooker has 8 cooking functions. The temperature ranges are 80 degrees Fahrenheit to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and it has time ranges that go up to 24 hours. And of course that depends on the function you're using. The dimensions for this, I didn't see any on like website or anything for dimension information. I will be doing independent measurements so that we have something to work with. Gourmia mentions that you should leave 4 inches of free space all around. Of course, nothing on top. It has like the vents and stuff for airflow on top to get air in. And they mentioned that you should use a oil mister type of spray bottle, not like any type of a canned spray oil. Those aren't good for these cookers or the coatings that are on them. I personally use like a hand pump sprayer with extra light olive oil. That's not the same as like extra virgin or regular olive oil. It has a higher smoke point. And the cooker has an 8-quart capacity. And so let me go ahead and just show you around the cooker so that you get a good look around it. Here on the side, you've got, really nothing there, nothing there. As I mentioned, on top, you've got your airflow intake there. On the back, we've got basically air comes out of the back there. You've got no cord management here. And then on the bottom, you can see on the bottom there. And so that's just a quick look around things. Now I do want to mention, if this review ever reaches a point that is not to your liking, there is the timestamp feature as well as the chapters feature to advance to the point of your preference. Also here on the channel, there are over 900 cooking related videos covering now 100 different countertop cooker type appliances for you to enjoy and take a look at. Alright, so giving you a close-up view of things, we'll get it plugged in a moment and that'll all light up. But we're just going to take a look inside, have a look at things in here. You see this nice large size basket, and we'll just go ahead and put the crisp tray in there. Remember, those bumpers stay in. And going inside, just to take a deep dive inside, we see initially that the interior is plastic, so no metal lining there. Up top we have a big heat coil and a fan. In the back on the left we have a ambient probe, so that's how we're able to keep track of temperature internally over there on the back left. And so that's all I see. I think it has a light. Yeah, there's a light on the rear on the right. might not be easy to see, but on the rear right, there's a light. So right on the right is the light, on the left is the ambient probe inside there. Alright, so after getting things cleaned off, just wanted to show you, like all window basket air fryers, you see some condensation show up in the window, and don't worry about that. With basket air fryers that didn't have a window, you still had kind of a double door thing going on even with them, and water is getting inside of the double doors also. You just don't see it, but it all goes away in time. Don't worry about it. Never had an issue with, like, you know, people ask, well, does mildew grow there or something? No, it's never been a problem. Eventually it dries. I don't know how long, but don't worry about it. And it happens with basket air fryers without a window too. Now I want to do some independent measurements here. And so let's get down here, just do a quick side-to-side measure. And I'm seeing a little over 11 inches this way. Front to back, I'm going to do from the back of it to the handle. It really doesn't have any hump or anything in the back, so just from the back to the handle is a little over 13 inches, almost 13 and a half. In the height, we're getting just under 12 inches on the height. Now I'm going to go ahead and check out the basket situation. So with the basket, we go side to side. We got 10 inches that way. We got almost 10 inches that way, not quite 10. Diagonally, we've got 12 inches. Interior from the rack up is almost 5 inches. So those are your measurements. Alright, so now we've got two 8-quart Gourmia digital air fryers side by side. This is the one in this review. It's called the Gourmia digital 8-quart air fryer with window. This one is called the Gourmia 8-quart digital air fryer with window and light, even though this one has a light too. But this one is primarily being sold at like Walmart. This one is being sold primarily at Costco, even though you might find them other places. That's where you're probably going to find the best deal and where they're primarily sold. So if you see them sold somewhere else, they're probably someone kind of, you know, reselling possibly or something, but maybe not. You know, I don't know when you might see this. By that time it might not be exclusive at the places I mentioned. But anyway, as we see, both of them, I'd say front to back, the Gourmia here is a little bigger only because it has cord management on the back. See, this one has cord management to help you have a place to put the cord, whereas this other Gourmia here does not. This one does not have cord management on the back. But as far as height, very similar height there. As far as width, they're very close on width. Let's see. Yeah, maybe this one might be a little wider on the width. And I mean, they're both supposed to be 8 quarts, right? But this one comes with a second layer rack, so you can do 2 layers. This one does not come with a second layer rack. In looking at the 2 baskets, as far as their size, they look like they're equal size baskets. They're the same size basket. Let's see, height. Yeah, they're the same. So same size baskets. But with this one, you get a little more in the cord management on the back. You also get this here. You do a second layer. Also, they give you a nice laminated cooking chart along with other paperwork. Full review of this is here on the channel. Alright, so now we have the Gourmia next to the West Bin 7-quart air fryer. Full review of this is also on the channel. And so we see, as far as height, the West Bin, even though it's 1 quart less in capacity, it's a little taller than the Gourmia. As far as width, seems like it's not as wide as the Gourmia. And front to back, they look about the same front to back. And going inside here, looking at the 2 baskets, You see the west bin is just a little smaller. I can observably tell the west bin's a little smaller basket. So I can take the west bin, almost get into the Gourmia. It's a little smaller, but can't quite put it in to the Gourmia basket. As far as height, and I've got the west bin over here to your left, no, to your right, sorry, to your right. The west bin is on your right, and the west bin is not as tall as the Gourmia. The Gourmia that's on your left is taller. So the Gourmia basket is a little bigger. Alright, so let's plug things in. So with things plugged in, we see that it just kind of lit up pretty quick to let us know that it's powered on. Alright, so it has a power button right here that's lit up. And once you hit that, the rest of the display lights up. I'm going to turn my other lights off so you can see a little clearer. Alright, so regarding power, they do mention that when you're done using it, they recommend you unplug it. So when you power it off, they recommend you unplug the thing. That's their suggestion. And you hear that it's making chimes every time I turn it on and off. It does have a mute button, and they say that the air fryer will beep for your guided prompts, but other than that, it'll stay muted if you hit the mute button. So I'm going to hit the, well, I think I just muted it. So let's see if yeah, now I'm hitting prompts and it's not making any noise. I turn it off, I turn it back on, no sound, so it remembers that I muted it, and so you can go through doing things without as much noise. There is a preheat button here, so depending on the basically function that you're using, you can decide whether or not you're going to have a preheat that will toggle on and off by pressing it, and we'll talk about that in more detail in a moment. There's also a turn reminder button, and it'll do basically a signal to turn halfway through the cook time so that you know to turn or move your food around. You can also like toggle that on and off, but we'll get into the details of that also in a moment. There's a time temp button here, so you can switch between selecting time and temperature, and then you can do up and down with your up and down options there for going up and down on temperature or time depending on which you have selected. Now if you want to toggle between Fahrenheit and Celsius, you can do that by holding the time temp button. So, well, I just tapped it to have to kind of get it to show something. And then when I hold it, it switches to Celsius. If I hold it again, it'll switch to Fahrenheit. So that's how you switch between Fahrenheit and Celsius. And you see a little red preheat and turn are flashing there. I can press the preheat button to stop having a preheat or turn it back on. Same for turn reminder, I can turn that off or back on. There's a start button when you want to start your cook, and there's a stop cancel. Pressing stop cancel once will pause the cook basically, and pressing it twice will stop the cook. And there's also a light button, so you can just, turn the light on and off when you want to see what's going on. Now I'm going to go into more detail about each function. We have air fry up first, and with air fry, the temperature ranges are 170 degrees Fahrenheit to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and that can cook for between 1 to 60 minutes. Preheat and turn reminder are on by default, but you can toggle them off. Next is the bake function. With the bake function, the temperature ranges are also 170 degrees Fahrenheit to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, but the time range goes between 1 to 120 minutes. Preheat and turn reminder are on, but can be toggled off. No, actually, turn reminder is not on here. So, yeah, so it's just the preheat that's on. Next function is roast, and with the roast function, the temperature ranges are again 170 degrees Fahrenheit to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and the cooking times are between 1 to 120 minutes. And on this one, both preheat and turn are on by default and could be toggled off if you want to turn them off. Next is the broil function. The broil function is locked at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Your time between 1 to 60 minutes. Preheat and turn are on, but could be toggled off if you wish. The next function we have is the dehydrate function, and with the dehydrate function, it's between 90 degrees Fahrenheit to 170 degrees Fahrenheit, and you can do between 30 minutes to 24 hours. Preheat and turn are off, but you can toggle them on if you need them. And then next is the reheat function. And with the reheat function, temperature ranges are 170 degrees Fahrenheit to 400 degrees Fahrenheit for between 1 to 60 minutes. Preheat and turn are off, and both can be toggled on. Next is the keep warm function. And with the keep warm function, it's between 150 degrees to 200 degrees Fahrenheit for between 1 minute to 8 hours. Preheat and turn are off, and you can't toggle them on. So you see preheat and turn are not even lit up for you to toggle them. And then the last option is proof. You can proof dough in here. And with the proof option, the temperature ranges are 80 degrees Fahrenheit to 170 degrees Fahrenheit between 1 minute and 4 hours. Preheat and turn are off, and you can't toggle them on. Now I'm getting ready to do a temperature test, and with any new appliance you want to do a burn off, whether it's countertop, conventional, or otherwise. They do mention that it will have some smell the first few cooks, and that's supposed to go away after some uses. But basically you want to clean things well, do a good burn off. I usually run things at the highest temp for like 30 minutes or so, 20-30 minutes with accessories in to try and burn off anything that came during the production process. And if you keep having issues, I do have a video, because sometimes people say the smell never goes away on something. I do have a video talking about how to stop the smell in detail, but if nothing else works, you can always try and exchange. So let's go ahead and try and get in here and do this temperature test. I've got a oven thermometer that I'm going to use here, and I'm going to set that right here in the middle, and going to close on up. And so things lit up but didn't stay on, so turned on. I'm going to use air fry. I'm going to keep it at 400. I'm going to leave preheat on. I'm going to turn turn reminder off. And you see I could switch between time and temp if I want, but temp is at the max. So time, I'm going to push up to 30. And I'm going to go ahead and hit start. And so we'll see how things go from this point. Alright, it's reached the add food point, so I've got to open the door to get it to basically toggle to start going through its countdown. So opening up, we see the temperature is not even 400 degrees Fahrenheit. It didn't even reach the target temp yet. So, but that's just the preheat, so it could, go a little higher. So it goes ahead and starts counting down now. So we'll see what happens. We'll let it run for a little bit. So doing a sound decibel check. We see the sound is in the low 50s. That's I guess kind of a norm for basket air fryers, 50, mid 50s, kind of tending towards the louder end for a basket air fryer. So it's not a quiet basket air fryer. I'm going to go ahead and do some feeling around on things just to kind of see how things feel by hand. On top here, it's a little warm on top. On this side, a little warm on the side, a little warm, well, very warm on this side. Not having that metal liner could be a factor in that. There's hot air blowing out the back here that, of course, I can feel. But down here, yeah, all around here is kind of warm. Here on the window's a little hot, just a little hot. Handle, of course, is cool touch. And just feeling down here on the surface, I don't feel any heat on the surface. So on the table here is cool. Alright, so now I'm using a thermal imaging camera, and we can see on the front there at the window, we're seeing about 187 off that window. Red is the hottest, blue is the coolest. If something got super hot, it'd be white hot. Let's go around the side. Here on the side, and it adjusts to where the hottest is for where it's looking. We see down bottom there where I was feeling things are Pretty hot down there, like 139, like 140, pretty hot. Over the top, you've got some heat over the top in some areas, not where I guess I didn't have my hand as much over in that area. But we see there's some spots that are hot on the top. It's going around, try and get a look at the other side. Over here on the other side, we see that there's some heat down bottom there, as I mentioned, even in feeling. I'm just trying to get a look around back. Let's see. Yeah, I mean it's mostly where the hot air is coming out is where it's going to focus that there's a lot of heat. But that gives us a thermal imaging view of things. Alright, now I'm going to check if opening the door will auto pause. And it does. Checking temperature again now. We're at about 425, so now it's a little over its set temperature. So it gets close to temp on preheat, and then after that, it's goes a little over, which is cool. And closing up again, it basically auto starts again. And let's see if the stop cancel does a pause. Stop cancel does do a pause, and you can restart again from that point if you choose. Hitting it twice does end the cook fully. I'm going to just get it going again, so turning that off and turn off the preheat, just hit start. And just to get it going again, we'll see if making changes on the fly is easy. So I hit time, and let's see if I put it up to 30 again. See if it takes that. It takes a few seconds, but it takes it. If I want to change temperature, okay, oh it did light up. Okay, so I can adjust time and temperature on the fly pretty easily. It just takes a moment for it to accept the change. So I'm going to put that back up to 400. And so now that we've done that, I'm going to go ahead and turn things off. We noticed when I stopped it, it didn't remember that I had 30 minutes before when I had it up to 30 minutes at 400. So there's no type of memory here on the cooker. It is doing an air fry cool down fan type of sequence now that it's been turned off, so that'll probably run for a while before it stops. I'll just wait and see how long that takes. Alright, so I'll let the timer on the screen, have told the tale as far as how long it takes for it to do its cool down sequence. But that's a full, temperature test, sound test, and all that good stuff. Alright, so now I'm going to do a toast test. I've got 2 slices of my whole wheat light sourdough bread in here. 1 slice buttered, 1 slice is not buttered. And so I'm going to put this on in. And I did want to mention that everything here is room temperature. The cooker has had time to cool down. And I also wanted to say that the outer glass or the outer window is plastic. The inner is glass. So it's plastic outside, inner inside window. So plastic glass inside, yeah. So basically going to turn things on. Going to hit air fry, leave it at 400. Going to turn the preheat and turn reminders off. I'm going to bring the time down to, I'm going to do 7 minutes, see how that does. And going to go ahead and hit start with that. And so we'll see what we get. Alright, time's up. Does a very silent chime. I do want to mention this bread is far more resilient than your store-bought stuff, so if you think 7 minutes is a long time, it would have done a much harder cook on store-bought stuff than this. It's just very resilient. You can see a full video of how I make this bread here on the channel. Alright, getting this bread out. And so now I'm going to let you have a look at it. And I know I could flip it to get both sides cooked fully well. I just want to show you for one side. You see that it's, cooked pretty good on that side. Knowing that side's got a little cooking. Seems to have favored this side more than cooking in the middle, like the outer part. And on this slice as well, it seems like it was cooking more, you know, on some parts than others. I mean, of course, the butter is a mitigating factor as well, but still, it seems like it was just more harder over there. That's interesting. But that is able to cook up your toast. So now I'm going to do a bake test. I've got my blueberry almond flour square batter here, and I'm going to flash the recipe on the screen for a moment. So I'm going to go ahead and turn things on. Click on bake. Keep that preheat on. I'm going to up the temperature to 350. I think 325 would probably take these a much longer while to run. Lord willing, things won't get too cooked over on top. But I'm going to do 350, 30 minutes, and click start. We'll let the preheat run, and then we'll get them on in. Alright, time to add the food in. So let's open it up here. Put this one in. Alright, close on up. Let things go ahead and cook. Turn the light on. Well, yeah. Alright, see if the light stays on. Alright, it's been going for 12 minutes, and I think that things might be getting cooked a little hard on the top, and they are. You can see the top's getting cooked pretty hard. So I'm going to bring the temp down on the fly to 325, and I'll probably have to cook it for longer because of that. So let's see if I can go over here, take it down to 325. Time, I'm going to have to, let's see, cook for 12 minutes. So I'm going to give it, you know, like another bit of time there. And basically it'll cook for a total of about 40 minutes. And we'll see how that turns out. Alright, so it's been going for about 30 minutes, and I'm going to just check now. And yeah, we're a bit overdone on the top, but and it still needs more cook time. 325 I knew was going to take a lot longer, but seems like, you know, with this, it's a typical top-down basket air fryer. It's not easing up on the bake, so here it's still pretty loud. It's still hitting it pretty hard. So I'm going to let this go another 10 minutes, Lord willing. Maybe it'll be done, maybe not. But we see with baking, it's going to hit it pretty hard on baking. Alright, 40 minutes, and even that might not be enough time, but we shall see. See, the top is really overdone, but it does feel done. Yeah, it does feel done. I can tell from tapping the top. So, it can bake, but you're going to get overdone on the top. And I know I could cover things and all this and that, but I wanted to see how this performs. Alright, so for an air fry test, I've got a piece of frozen cod fillet here. I've got some extra light olive oil, not to be confused with olive oil or extra virgin olive oil. And I've got some lemon pepper seasoning and some organic no salt seasoning on it. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in. And things are already pretty warm in there already from earlier cook. So just going to turn on. I'm going to hit air fry. I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to turn off the turn and the preheat. And I'm going to bring temp down to 375. And I'm going to up the time 20 minutes. Go ahead and hit start with that. We'll let things cook for a while. Alright, since it's been 15 minutes, I just want to check. So, open it up, I'm just going to check temp. Yeah, we're in the 109s. So I'm going to let it go for the last 5. And we'll see what we get. Alright, we should be done now after 20 minutes. Probably more than well done. But we'll have a look here. Yeah, we're in the 150s, 160s or so. Yeah, we're in the 160s or so, so we're very well done. So I'll go ahead and get it out real quick. And so there you have it. It can air fry up some cod for you. Alright, so let's talk about cleaning the cooker. Basically for cleaning, they say it should clean it after every use. Let it cool down. Never immerse the main unit in water, of course. They say that the basket and the crisper tray are top rack dishwasher safe. And you can use like a warm soapy dishcloth to clean things off, and then a wet one to wipe things down. And dry things off after that. And don't use anything abrasive. Personally, I'll just do everything by hand. They do say if anything is baked on, you can soak the basket or the rack and get that off if anything's soaked on those. Alright, so let's talk about the warranty. The cooker comes with a 1-year limited warranty, which is basically the standard for Gourmia. And so it was able to do everything that we tested to do, but baking is going to be a little hard. I mean, there are some basket air fryers that will do a better job with baking than others, but this one came a little hard on the baking though. But it's a basket air fryer, so you get what you get with some basket air fryers. And so basically nothing in this video is sponsored, nothing given to me. I like to keep it that way. And so you can always check out my blog, superwaveovenrecipes.com. Again, that's superwaveovenrecipes.com. And there's lots of ways to help the channel in the video description, such as my cookbook, merch, membership, donations, link to the Amazon shop. There's also buy me a coffee link on my blog. And so lots of ways to help out there. And so if you did like the video, please do give it a thumbs up. Share the video with a friend, leave your comments, subscribe, hit that notification icon, and good eating.